Hi guys, welcome to the new and improved Real Talk with Whitney. I know it has been a minute since we talked, okay, and I do apologize. Had some life things going on and I needed to take a minute to refocus, rebalance, and get back into that mindset that is needed to have Real Talk with Whitney. So I'm really excited about this new program, so without further ado, let's get it started. Positive news, because every single day all we get to hear about is all this negative news, and it is really hard to hear about that, and so I am going to be providing some positive news. So let's start off here. So apparently I used to be a real football watcher, like really hardcore football watcher, and then I just realized, no offense to everybody else who loves football, because I know it's like the all-American sport, but there's just so many other things that I could be focusing on than, you know, football. So I guess I missed this one, but apparently, so I guess Kentucky versus University of Florida had a game, and Kentucky won after a 31-year losing streak. That's a really long time. And I guess when they won, the crowds went wild, which is super expected. Happens in like every city across the nation when there's like a huge monumental sport thing. Crowds go wild. So crowds went wild, started partying, rioting, doing all these crazy things or whatever. Well, apparently there was a 19-year-old named Matthew O'Hara in Kentucky who watched online these like riots and stuff and happened to see his car getting destroyed in the riot. I know this hasn't gotten to the positive part yet, but it's coming, I swear. So he's watching his car getting smashed and flipped and everything, completely destroyed, completely devastated. I'd be bawling my freaking eyes out, swear to God. And so his mom, obviously feeling awful about what happened, started this GoFundMe. So everyone does GoFundMe nowadays, y'all know what it is. So she started this GoFundMe and she was raising money and everything else. Well, so to their surprise, a local car dealership ended up donating to Matthew a 2005 Mazda 3. I feel like he kind of lucked out on that one. And the mom did, in my opinion, the best thing possible, and she actually refunded the GoFundMe to everyone who had donated. So here we find a bunch of really reckless people destroying somebody else's property in honor of a winning football game. The logic there does not speak to me, I'm sorry. But the kindness of everybody else in the world donated to try to help him get a car, and then a car dealership actually donated the car. So there is still some goodness out there, people. It's in your hearts. You just gotta find it, but it's there, I promise. Now this one really hits home for me, because we all know I'm an animal lover. If you follow me, you see my animals all the time. I love animals so much. If I didn't live in a small 2-bedroom apartment, I'd have a lot more animals. Like my boyfriend and I would talk about getting just a ton of land and just a ton of animals. Like I want to have my own like farm. But these two men from Rembert, South Carolina, I'm not sure if I pronounced that city right, but apparently after the hurricane in Katrina in 2005, they opened up their home to all the stray dogs. And then they've continued doing this ever since then. So that's really awesome. And it has come to be found out that over the past 13 years, they have saved over 10,000 dogs. That is amazing. And like, oh my God, thank you so much for saving these dogs. Because I've wondered that, like when Irma hit and all that kind of stuff, like a lot of people, I don't understand this, because like you get told that there's a natural disaster coming your way, and then you leave your animals and you lock them in cages and like tell them like good luck. That's awful. And for anybody who's ever done that, you need some serious re-evaluation, okay? To Ron, Donta, and Danny Roberts show, thank you. From all the animal lovers out there, thank you for saving over 10,000 dogs in the past 13 years. That is phenomenal. You guys deserve like a Nobel Prize, in my opinion. I know that's extreme, but not really. No, not really. Can we just take a minute right now and appreciate the fact that it's fall? I am that basic white girl who absolutely loves pumpkin and anything and everything pumpkin. Like, it's my favorite. I love fall. I love the colors. I love outfits. I'm literally drinking cider right now. Anything pumpkin, apple pie, pumpkin pie, all of it. Oh my God, I absolutely love fall, and it's my favorite time of the year. It is one of the reasons why I miss back home so much is because of a real fall. You know, now I live in Naples, Florida, and you know, you never really get that full fall feeling or experience until like it's Christmas, which is not really fall anymore. It's like supposed to be winter. But I get to wear like fall clothes in the winter down here. So it's one of the things I miss the most about back home is the real fall, the apple orchards, picking apples, getting the cider, the pumpkins, the hay rides, the trees, just all of it. I miss it so much. So, moment of silence for fall. God, I miss you. Thank you for coming back so loyally every single year. Alright, moving on along to the motivational topic for today. So if you've watched any of my past videos or anything like that, we talk about a lot of fundamentals and a lot of important aspects of keeping that positive mindset and starting to have that more positive lifestyle and healthy lifestyle. So today we are going to do, the first month of this season is going to be focusing on some fundamentals before kind of diving into some root areas that I think are really important. Today what I really want to talk about is that before you can work on yourself, you have to work on your environment. The two go together very much, but I have found it easier to start in my environment to then feel more comfortable and relaxed to work on myself. Now, your environment can include a few different things. Your environment is your home. Absolutely, your home needs to be that sanctuary that you can go home to and feel relaxed and feel at peace and feel like you can just breathe and meditate and do all those things. That needs to be your home, whether it's a certain room in your home or whatever, but your home is your home, you know? So it really needs to be a good environment for you to go home to. So if, first and foremost, if your home is not a good environment or a positive environment for you, I don't know what the reason would be behind that, whether it be maybe the person you're sharing the home with, or maybe it's the lack of organization you might have. I'm not really sure. But whatever it is, I would take a moment and I would start to think to myself, like, how do I make my home my sanctuary? And then I would focus on that. Taking that even further, your environment also includes your workplace. Your environment also includes the people you surround yourself with. And that one's really tricky. But rewind a second and talk about work. I work, you work, we all work, we have to work, we have bills to pay. This is not some paradise earth where everything's free. And studies have shown, like, you spend more time at work than you do sometimes even at home, or just doing like whatever else you like to do. So your work and your home are just so important that those environments for you are healthy and positive and good environments. That is just crucial. So if you're going to work every day and you're sitting there like, I hate my job and I hate who I work with, and you're like feeling that already dreadful feeling before you even get into work, that's a problem. And it's not something that can be easily as fixed as like your home situation. Sometimes that's a little bit easier because sometimes it is just a matter of sprucing it up a little bit, cleaning it up a little bit, maybe designating certain areas or times for like peace. But your work is a lot different because you don't have as much control over that except for like finding another job. So you have one or two options here. You can either start specifically putting it out there to everyone you talk to at work that you are looking for a better work environment, and start, maybe, compassion is contagious. So if you start like maybe being nicer to people or reaching out, and even the people that you don't like and you're still like nice to them, people are going to start recognizing that. On a more extreme note, start looking for another job, dude. Just saying. I mean, if it's really that bad, I'd look for another job. I know jobs aren't always the easiest to come by, so like you could be applying for other jobs while you're still trying to work on the one that you're at and all that kind of stuff, but force yourself to go into that workplace with a much brighter attitude. Try to do more than what's expected of you. Try to go above and beyond and help people and do all those things at work, so that when you leave that place, you don't feel like you just went in, punched a clock, did some work, and then punched a clock out. Make it more fulfilling for you at work if finding another job is not really an option. The third one that we talked about here is the people you surround yourself with. This one hits close to home because I've had to, quite even recently and just throughout my life, really had to start focusing on who was in my life. And your parents always were like, oh, I don't really want you hanging out with that person, he's not a good influence, and you would look at your parents like, whatever, I'm gonna hang out with whoever I want. But they probably had some type of rightness there a little bit. And it's just a really hard thing to do. It's one of the hardest things to do, is to distance yourself from people that you care about, because you do care about them. But in the same sense, it's almost kind of like a tough love situation, where if this person isn't really making good choices or isn't doing what's best for them or best for their family or whoever's around them, you have to cut them loose a little bit. And you have to hope and pray for them every single night, and you can still wish them good wishes. You can still care about these people. You can still hope and pray that their life turns out to be this amazing life, and that they make the choice to change, and that they do these great things. But at the same time, you have to take care of yourself. And so if you feel like their energy and their vibrations are bringing you down, you need to distance yourself a little bit until either you have more control over your own levels and your environment doesn't affect it as much, or until they've chosen to be different. That's really your only two options. It's hard, but it's so important to change your environment, your home, your work, and your family and friends. Even family. If there's a family member who's not treating you the way that you should be treated, it is okay to cut them out. I know that sounds awful because blood is thicker than water, but in my experience, I have found that even when it is a family member who is not doing the right things and not being a good person and not showing compassion, it is necessary for me to take myself out of that equation for myself, because my peace of mind is so much more important than entertaining somebody else, if that makes sense. So no matter who it is and what relationship you've had with them so far, if they are toxic to your mindset and if they are bringing you down, you need to cut them loose. Just saying. So focus on your environment, guys, before you focus on yourself. You can do both at the same time, but you will find that when you live in a cleaner environment and you live in a sanctuary with work and home and friends and family, it's so much easier to start changing your mindset and focusing on yourself. So that's super important. Now for some good stuff. So every single week I'm going to be sharing with you some either products, favorite snacks, favorite this, favorite that, just something I really like or something I did that I really enjoyed or something like that. This week, I'm actually gonna be showing you three products, tongue twister, 3 products that I use very regularly. So, one of the first products I like to use, now, I do think that the sun does damage you a little bit. I do think it's important to get out in the sun and to be outside, but you know, you should still be putting on sunblock, you should still be doing all that kind of stuff, because the rays are harmful. It is what it is. But at the same time, a little bit of sun is good. So finding that balance, because everything's about balance, finding that balance is really important. However, your girl does not want to be pale, okay? So laying out in the sun for 6 hours a day is not really an option for me. So instead, I've had to resort to self-tanners. Now, back in the day, like when I was in high school, people would do the self-tanners, but they were like going to the tanning places and doing the machines and stuff, and they would turn out orange. Your girl does not want to look orange either. So I have started my self-tanning process with this self-tanner, and I actually really like it. This is Malibu Tan. It is Hemp self-tanner, Golden Glow, but it's also a skin firming bronzing moisturizer. There's something in it that moisturizes, firms, and reduces wrinkles while subtly enhancing skin with a healthy glow. So I really like this. I do have like a nice base tan. I have been using it for now a little over a week. Looks good. My hands are not orange. There's no like streaks or anything. I do it as soon as I get out of the shower. I dry off. I put this lotion on, let it dry a little bit before I put any clothes on. Sometimes I'll put a robe on or something so that's kind of still drying while I'm getting ready. I get dressed. I've had no issues with it getting on clothing. I wear white. I wear any color I want. I haven't had any issues as long as you let it dry. I do wash my hands after I use it, and then I take a little bit of it on like an old makeup brush I don't use anymore. I squirt a little bit on, and I actually like paint my hands on the front so that those still get tan and my palms stay white. Nobody likes orange palms, okay? Okay. So I really like this stuff right now. This is the first self-tanner I've used. I may change my mind in the future because, you know, that's okay too. But as of right now, I really like this. It wasn't expensive. I got it from Walmart, I think. So I think it cost me like $6 or $7. Not expensive at all, totally worth it. I'm loving the color I'm getting. It's absolutely worth it. So let's be real. A lot of this stuff is gonna be for girls, ladies, women, of all shapes and sizes, because I'm a woman. So I'm sorry guys, but yeah, a lot of times this stuff is gonna be women's stuff, but I promise you I will try to, you know, even out the playing field, and I will do my best to get some guy products or universal products on here every once in a while. But let's be real, I'm a girl. It's gonna be girl stuff all the time. But hey, you might be able to buy something for your girl one day and be like, hey, I heard a really great review about this and thought you might like it, and you could get some brownie points for that. So, not worth giving up on. Definitely worth listening to. So the next product I'm talking about is my eyeshadow primer, okay? So I have used a few different primers since I started using primer, and they've all sucked, yeah, except for this one. This one has been the winner. This is Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer, okay? And it is amazing. It's perfect, like easy to come out, like great texture. You don't need a lot, goes on really smooth, and it holds the color really well. I go to work, and by the time I get home, I'm literally having to like wipe it off because the color is still on there. So good. Love this stuff. Won't ever stop. Excuse me. Won't ever stop using it. Next thing I'd like to talk about is this beauty. Okay. So this is from the Ion collection. You can get it probably just about anywhere, but I get a lot of my hair products and stuff from Sally's. I just really like their stuff, and their pricing is usually really good. So this is Ion. This is a volumizing root lift. So this isn't mousse. You know, for ladies, you're supposed to put mousse on when your hair is wet. Blow dry it, volumize it, do all that stuff. Get the volume that you want from that, but on like day 2 and day 3 and day 4, because you know we don't wash our hair every single day, it's bad for your hair, you start to lose that volume. So that's where this comes into play. I'm gonna kind of give you guys a close-up here, okay? All right, yes, see. So you take a little bit of this, and you just lift up your roots, and you just kind of like spray it underneath, okay? And I like to kind of jiggle it a little. And then you take your fingers, and you just kind of tousle it a little bit, and it just kind of starts to give you a little bit of a raise. Now this isn't gonna be some like crazy, like, oh my god, my hair is super more volume, but it gives it just that little bit, that really natural, you know, good look. And since I did the one side, you know, I gotta do the other. So put that in there, kind of jiggle it a little bit, and then just tousle it with your fingers. And then just kind of, as it dries, you just kind of want to keep tossing it. It's going to give you that little bit more volume. Like I said, it's nothing crazy. Just a little bit so your hair is not so flat to your head. That ain't cute. This stuff, love it, live by it, go get it. Just saying. So, before we say our goodbyes, the last section of this segment of this talk show is the did you know facts that I like to bring you all the time. Did you know facts, I really love them because they're usually super weird and random, and I had no idea, and now I do. Now I know. So the first one we're going to say today, both of them are going to be kind of more in play for your mind because I feel like it's important, but sometimes I'm just going to throw some weird ones in there, I swear. So 41% of people who have unexplained nausea are suffering from anxiety, and 24% who have unexplained nausea are clinically depressed. So I feel like that's kind of interesting because it really goes to show that your body and your mind and the way you feel and everything that's around you and anything you get affected by, they all come into play. So if you're taking care of your inner body, you're also going to be taking care of your mind. If you're taking care of your mind, you're taking care of your inner body. From personal experience, there was this relationship I was in like forever and ever ago. And I was always nauseous. Like I was literally going to the doctor like I'm always sick, I'm getting these stomach pains, all this stuff all the time. And the doctor was like, you have stomach ulcers. And I'm like, from what? Like I'm not, you know, like how did I get stomach ulcers, you know? And come to find out, if you're doing a bunch of research, you can get stomach ulcers just from stress. And so the stress caused the stomach ulcers. The stomach ulcers caused me to get into some severe stomach pains after eating or drinking and certain things and all that stuff, and constantly feeling sick to my stomach. All because I was with a person who was giving me immense amounts of stress and anxiety. Did not deserve me at all. And I know that now. So it's just really important. All of it comes together. So if you want to feel better on the inside, you got to feel better in here, and you got to make sure your environment is a good environment to be in. Did you know that playing board games can make you a nicer person? By providing a state of controlled conflict. It improves relationship skills by requiring that you practice taking turns, following rules, being fair, and winning or losing with grace. Okay? So that I think is kind of cool. You know, I always liked playing board games, not video games, I hate video games, but I love board games. And that is interesting that it does kind of, without you even really realizing it, cause you to be fair and all that kind of stuff. And yes, if you can't lose at a board game without like letting it ruin your day, you have some serious self-evaluating to do. Okay? Okay. Well guys, that is it for today's Real Talk with Whitney. I hope you enjoyed this segment. I hope it brought you some peace, some insight, some light bulbs maybe went off, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of it as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for supporting me on the regular. Without you, I could not be doing this. Have an amazing day. Make good choices today. I believe in you, and you should believe in yourself. Have a great day, guys. Bye.